If you're over 70 and still driving in Canada, listen carefully. Major driving law changes are coming this October, and they could decide whether you keep your license or lose it. Here's everything you need to know before it's too late. Welcome to Canada Insight Now, your trusted source for real updates on pension, immigration, and politics in Canada. Stay informed, stay empowered. Let's begin today's update. Let's start with the big one, license renewals. Until now, most provinces allowed drivers aged 70 and above to renew their licenses every 2 to 5 years, depending on where they lived. But under the new 2025 rules, renewals will become more frequent, and in some provinces, mandatory every 2 years once you turn 70. The goal, according to Transport Canada, is to ensure that older drivers remain medically and cognitively fit to drive. However, for many seniors living on fixed pensions, this will mean more fees, more paperwork, and more frequent trips to testing centers. But it doesn't stop there. The new rules will also expand medical and vision testing requirements. If you're 70 or older, you may now be required to provide a recent medical report from your doctor every time you renew your license. The test will include vision screening, cognitive response checks, and even reaction time testing using new digital assessment tools. These tools have already been piloted in Ontario and British Columbia, where the results showed that nearly 1 in 5 drivers over 75 needed additional evaluation before being cleared to drive again. Transport Canada claims this change is about saving lives. Their data shows that seniors are involved in a higher rate of at-fault collisions per kilometer driven compared to middle-aged drivers, especially in intersections and during night driving. But many seniors argue those statistics are misleading. Older Canadians drive fewer kilometers, often in familiar areas, and tend to be more cautious overall. Advocacy groups like CARP and the Canadian Senior Drivers Alliance have already raised concerns that these new requirements could unfairly target older drivers and create new barriers for those living in rural areas without public transit. Another major update starting October 8, 2025, involves technology. For the first time, seniors aged 70 and above will need to complete an online driving knowledge refresher before renewing their license. This will be a short government-approved digital course that reviews updated road signs, distracted driving laws, and new technology used in modern vehicles such as lane assist, blind spot monitoring, and adaptive cruise control. Seniors will have the option to take this refresher online at home or at a Service Canada location with staff assistance. The government says it's meant to keep everyone up to date as vehicles evolve rapidly. However, some seniors have already expressed frustration, saying they aren't comfortable with online testing and would prefer in-person sessions. Another controversial part of the 2025 reform is the potential insurance impact. While not officially part of federal law, several major insurance companies in Canada have confirmed they will use the new medical and testing data to adjust premiums. In plain terms, if a senior driver's test results show slower reaction times or certain medical limitations, their car insurance could go up. Critics say this adds financial pressure at a time when many seniors are already struggling with inflation and fixed retirement incomes. There are also changes in how driving schools and family physicians will interact under the new rules. Doctors will now be required to report certain medical conditions directly to provincial driving authorities, conditions that could impact driving ability, like early dementia, severe arthritis, or deteriorating vision. Previously, reporting was often left to the driver's discretion. Now physicians who fail to report can face penalties. Supporters say this will prevent tragedies before they happen. Opponents say it puts too much burden on doctors and could lead to unnecessary license suspensions. So why October 8, 2025? That's when the national implementation phase begins. Each province, including Ontario, Alberta, British Columbia, and Quebec, will begin enforcing these updated senior driver requirements around that date, though exact rollout details will vary slightly from province to province. Some provinces like Ontario are expected to be the first to launch mandatory digital testing and shorter renewal cycles. Others may delay certain features until 2026. Still, by the end of 2025, every Canadian province will be part of the new senior driver framework. Officials insist the move isn't about taking away driving privileges, but about balancing independence and safety. According to Transport Canada's Senior Mobility Task Force, over 5 million Canadians will be aged 70 or older by 2030, nearly double the number in 2010. With that growth, policymakers are under pressure to modernize driver testing, update safety standards, and reduce accident risk on aging roadways. But senior organizations argue that government hasn't done enough to improve alternatives like senior-friendly transit or rural mobility options. They say if you take away someone's ability to drive, you take away their independence, social connection, and access to medical appointments. In interviews with CTV and Global News, several seniors shared their personal worries. One woman from Edmonton said she's been driving safely for over 50 years without a single ticket, yet fears she could lose her license just because of a computer test. Another from Toronto said he welcomes medical exams if they truly help safety, but feels the system should be free for retirees on limited income. Those kinds of concerns are exactly what advocacy groups are pushing Ottawa to address before full implementation in 2025. To ease the transition, the government plans to launch a nationwide awareness campaign in early 2025. It will include mail notices, TV ads, and online guides showing seniors how to prepare for the new tests. There will also be local workshops where seniors can practice reaction time, simulations, and learn about new car technologies. In some provinces, drivers who voluntarily complete these sessions early could receive renewal fee discounts or insurance rebates, though those incentives are still under review. There's also talk about phased testing, meaning if a senior passes both medical and vision tests with excellent results, they could qualify for a longer renewal window, like 3 years instead of 2. On the flip side, drivers who show borderline results might be asked to retest after 1 year. While that sounds fair on paper, critics warn it could create unnecessary anxiety for thousands of older drivers who depend on their vehicles daily. Still, one fact is clear: this change is happening. October 8, 2025, marks the beginning of a new era for senior drivers in Canada. Whether you support or oppose the move, it's essential to be informed, stay proactive, and prepare in advance. If you or your loved one is approaching 70, now's the time to talk to your doctor. Check your eyesight and start practicing safe driving habits. Avoid distractions, stay within speed limits, and don't ignore any medical symptoms that could affect your reaction time or awareness behind the wheel. Experts suggest seniors start preparing by scheduling annual eye exams and keeping a record of their medications, since some prescriptions can affect concentration or alertness while driving. Families are also encouraged to have open conversations about driving safety, not as a judgment, but as a plan to stay independent longer. Simple steps like adjusting driving routes to avoid nighttime trips or high-traffic areas can make a huge difference in safety and confidence. As the October 2025 deadline approaches, more information will be released by each provincial government. So if you're a senior driver or have a family member over 70, make sure you stay updated through official channels like Service Canada and your provincial transportation website. Don't rely solely on rumors or social media. Check the facts directly. Thanks for watching Canada Insight Now, where facts meet clarity. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss important news that matters to every Canadian.